next thing that passengers get to do is they get to test the captain. Now, the way that they do this is to cultivate arbitrary difficulty on land, because that is the clearest proxy for how the captain is going to handle non-arbitrary difficulty out at sea. And so that's what is commonly referred to as shit tests in our milieu. So, but it kind of makes sense. It's like, how do you test out a car? You don't treat it nice, right? You're kicking the tires and you're pushing the pedal to the metal and you're twisting around corners. You're basically doing everything that you can, while you can, to reveal any kind of hidden failings or flaws before you sign the papers. And then once you sign, you drive off real careful, right? Like no one is nicer to their car than somebody who just bought it. So the thing to remember about these sorts of tests is that they indicate a high level of interest. Very few people test drive cars for fun. They're not like, I have nothing to do on a Sunday, I might as well go down to the Lexus dealership. Like, that doesn't happen. People test drive cars when they have a very high interest in buying, okay? So if somebody is testing you, as infuriating or frustrating or difficult as that might be, it suggests that they're actually pretty close to signing the contract, as it were. And the way to handle that as a captain is emotional indifference and willingness to apply consequences. That's it. So emotional indifference is sort of outcome independence. It's sort of like, yeah, if you buy, great. If you don't buy, great. Because you're thinking, if you don't buy this car, there's going to be someone in 15 minutes who will. So I actually don't need you to buy this car because I've taken care of a funnel. There's a crowd of passengers outside of my ship who are actually interested in this. And in fact, I have an 11 o'clock, so I do need to wrap this up. Do you understand? Okay? And then a willingness to apply consequences, which suggests that you are trustworthy. A man who cannot stand up to a woman cannot make a woman feel safe. Because if a man can't stand up to a woman, how is she going to reasonably expect that he will stand up to other men who are the real threat? So that exchange is a proxy for the man's ability to provide protection in the larger world relative to actual threats, okay? And the way to fail that is to become defensive and emotional. So you apply consequences with impartiality. You don't become angry or petulant or sulky. You just say, hey, this is how it is. This is the terms of the agreement. If that works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. But that's how it is. And you allow them to make the choice. And then the third is they get to examine the itinerary, right? They get to decide, is this captain going where I want to go? And this is really tricky, because you might think that this is the most straightforward part of the exchange. You go down to a modern port or a modern airport, it's very clear. This plane is going to Hong Kong, this plane is going to Cairo, except that's not how the sexual marketplace is. The sexual marketplace is not like a modern airport, it's more like a port in the 18th century Caribbean, where there's like legitimate businessmen next to pirates and buccaneers. There's all kinds of dealings that are happening, and deceit and deception will always be a part of the game in the sexual marketplace. And so generally what's actually happening is captains are kind of pretending, more often than not, that they are interested in a committed relationship. Because if they come right out of the gate and say, I'm actually just attracted to you and I want to have a purely sexual relationship, it doesn't work. I don't talk about studies very often in my work, but there's one really fascinating study that I want to share with you. It was done on college campuses, I think about 15 years ago. And what they did is they trained an attractive young man and an attractive young woman in a comparable script to go up to other young people on campus. And the script was basically like, hey, I've seen you around campus. I find you very attractive. Would you like to go to bed with me? That was the script. So what percentage of men do you think said yes to an attractive woman who offered that proposition? It wasn't 100, and I can understand why, because how freaky would that be? Like, if that happened to me, I'd be like, where's the camera? You know, this doesn't feel right. There's a trap here. And so only 75% of men said yes, because 25% smelled that there was something fishy going on, I'm sure. Okay, and more to the point, what percentage of women said yes to the 0%, not a single woman did. So this means that on some level, captains can't be entirely honest about their intentions, because when they are, the passengers say, oh, thank you so much, I really appreciate it, but that's not where I want to go. And they will never get anyone on their boat. By the same token, a lot of passengers, if they're clever, they're pretending that they just want something casual. Oh yeah, this is fine. I just want to hang out and see where that goes. Casual sex, I tell this to the women I consult, is the Trojan horse to getting a relationship. It's how you get through the door, and it allows men to not suspect what's going on. And over time, they come to develop an emotional bond. It's really, really stupid for women to come out of the gate and say, I'm looking for a serious relationship, which is what you see on every profile over 30 on the dating apps. It works about as well as a guy saying, I'm just looking for sex. And I try to tell that to women. They don't understand it. They think they're dating intentionally. But they have to actually date strategically. Both sexes do, or else they don't really get a chance to get what they want.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here. And pinned down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.